share. This is Models and Agents, episode 46, for May 12th, 2026. Your daily briefing on the AI models and agents that are changing everything. And no, not those kinds of models and agents. Let's get into it. OpenAI's Daybreak pairs frontier models with Codex Security to let developers find, validate, and patch vulnerabilities earlier in the cycle. OpenAI launched Daybreak today as a cybersecurity program that ties its frontier models directly to the Codex Security agentic coding system. The goal is to help developers, enterprise teams, researchers, and government defenders catch and fix software issues much earlier in the workflow. Sam Altman noted that the latest ChatGPT model, along with new personality controls and personalization features, have now crossed a usability threshold for many people. Andrei Karpathy shared straightforward prompting methods that produce richer outputs from large language models. Several fresh research papers also dropped, focusing on how agents behave and how multimodal embeddings perform in practice. Daybreak combines those frontier models with Codex Security and a partner network to automate vulnerability detection, validation, and patching. The system respects existing security rules and compliance requirements so teams do not have to rebuild their processes from scratch. Early access is open now, and AOL TMN is encouraging companies to begin continuous security work right away. Partner integrations and expanded Codex capabilities are expected as the program grows. If you maintain production code bases, this gives you an automated way to surface issues before they reach later stages where fixes cost more. The practical shift is that security checks can move from periodic manual reviews to ongoing agent-assisted monitoring. Developers who already use coding agents may find the new security layer slots in without changing their daily workflow much. Andrei Karpathy suggests prompting large language models to return responses as HTML or even slideshows. He points out that vision is the brain's preferred output channel, so structured visual formats improve readability and interactivity. The progression he describes runs from raw text to Markdown to HTML and eventually to interactive neural videos or simulations. Builders can apply this today to get flexible, browser-viewable results without waiting for future model releases. The Gina embeddings, Vida's V5, Vida's Omni models handle text, image, audio, and video in a single semantic space. The team froze the existing text towers and trained only lightweight connectors that make up 0.35% of the total weights. Text embedding performance stays identical to earlier Gina version 5 releases, while adding new modalities efficiently. Developers can adopt this for multimodal retrieval without retraining entire models from scratch. The SalesSim benchmark tests multimodal large language models as persona-driven shoppers in multi-turn retail conversations. Current models produce fluent output but show low lexical diversity, overdisclosure, and drift away from the assigned persona, with the strongest model below 79% alignment. The paper introduces user GRPO, a multi-objective reinforcement learning method that improves alignment by 13.8% while keeping fluency intact. Teams building retail or conversational agents can use the benchmark to measure how well their systems stay on persona across several turns. Laserfish released AI agents that carry out tasks from natural language prompts while staying inside the platform's security and compliance boundaries. The agents operate autonomously within content management systems, which keeps sensitive data protected. Users can now describe entire workflows in plain language instead of writing rule-based scripts. This lowers the barrier for teams that want automation without deep technical scripting skills. Circle is extending its USDC infrastructure so AI agents can initiate payments directly. The move targets the rising number of autonomous transactions happening inside agent ecosystems. Developers working on agentic commerce can now plug stablecoin payment rails straight into their tool calling loops. This removes a friction point for anyone building agents that need to handle real financial actions. On the Llama 3.370 billion model, the community is still discussing whether it remains competitive for fine-tuning. Newer 70 billion class models like Twin 3 are available, yet users report continued success with Llama 3 variants when compute or licensing constraints make them the better choice. The thread shares practical tips on dataset selection and evaluation methods for those continuing to work with these checkpoints. Simon Willison measured roughly 30 gigabytes of total memory use from multiple Claude Code processes running across terminal windows. The largest single process reached 4.9 gigabytes. The observation shows the hidden resource cost of running several agentic coding sessions at once on consumer hardware. Anyone juggling multiple coding agents should factor memory limits into their setup. Okay, let's pop the hood on the frozen tower approach to multimodal embeddings. The real engineering win comes from keeping the original text towers frozen and training only thin adapters on top. This preserves the exact text embedding space you already tuned, while adding new modalities at roughly 0.35% of total parameter cost. The adapters project non-text features into the frozen language model input space, so inference latency grows only by the cost of the new encoders plus a small projection step. Quality stays within a few points of fully trained multimodal models on retrieval benchmarks because the heavy semantic work still happens in the original text backbone. The main trade-off is that cross-modal alignment cannot exceed what the frozen text space already encodes. If your downstream task needs tighter image-text coupling, you eventually pay for joint fine-tuning. Reach for the frozen approach when you already have production text embeddings and want to add images or audio without retraining or breaking existing indexes. Switch to end-to-end training only when you can measure a clear gap on your specific retrieval or classification metric. If you have not tried it yet, point your large language model at a task and append the instruction to structure the response as HTML. Then open the file in a browser. Carpathy's quick test produces richer, interactive outputs without extra tooling. Sign up for Daybreak at openai.com/daybreak if you maintain production code bases and want early access to AI-assisted vulnerability validation. This is a low-friction way to test automated security checks on your existing workflows. Benchmark your current embedding pipeline against Gina embeddings v5-Omni on a mixed text plus image retrieval set. You will see whether the frozen adapter route saves training time without hurting recall. Run a small sales-style SeekNote persona test on your own agent by giving it a shopper profile and measuring how often it drifts from the stated preferences across 5 turns. The exercise highlights alignment issues before they appear in production. More companies are expected to announce agent payment integrations following Circle's USDC push. Watch for follow-on papers that apply the user GRPO recipe to non-retail agent benchmarks. Laserfish-style governed agents will likely appear in additional enterprise content platforms this quarter. Tomorrow, keep an eye on the first partner integrations announced under the Daybreak program and any early Codex capability expansions. That's models and agents for today. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's trying to keep up with all these changes, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's update. The AI world moves fast. We'll help you keep up. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.